There is a silent psychological shift that happens the moment you cross the threshold of 40. On the outside, your life might look exactly the same career, the same routine, the same morning coffee. But on the inside, the lens through which you view the world undergoes a profound, sometimes terrifying mutation. In your 20s and 30s, your human behavioral psychology was driven by a biological and social program: accumulation. You were programmed to accumulate titles, status, possessions, validation, and a network. Your brain interpreted success as a mathematical equation. More equals better. You tolerated toxic bosses, chased superficial metrics, and ran on the endless treadmill of societal expectation. But then, 40 hits, and suddenly, the evolutionary programming changes. The psychological machinery flips from a survival mindset to a legacy mindset. You look at the trophies you spent 2 decades bleeding for, and for the first time, you ask a dangerous question: is this it? Is this what I traded my youth for? Most people mistake this internal shift for a midlife crisis. They think something is breaking down, but behavioral psychology tells us the exact opposite. Your mind is finally waking up. It is stripping away the illusions of youth to force you into a deeper, more brutal reality. If you are over 40, or approaching it, your definition of a success mindset cannot be a copy-paste version of a 20-year-old's ambition. If you try to run the old software on your mature operating system, you will experience chronic burnout, existential dread, and deep resentment. In this video, we will dissect the raw behavioral psychology of the post-40 mind. We will look at the 3 psychological illusions you must destroy, and the exact success mindset required to make the second half of your life infinitely more powerful than the first. This is the blueprint for the quiet rebellion of the mature mind. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Late Arrival. The first psychological trap that destroys the mindset of anyone over 40 is the illusion of late arrival. Modern culture is completely obsessed with youth. We are bombarded with headlines about 30 under 30 billionaires, young tech prodigies, and overnight internet sensations. Subconsciously, your brain absorbs this data and creates a toxic narrative. If I hasn't achieved massive success by now, the window is closed. I am too late. But human behavioral psychology reveals a fascinating truth. Cognitive maturity and complex pattern recognition peak much later in life than we think. In your 20s, your brain possesses high fluid intelligence, the ability to think fast and process raw information quickly. But after 40, you develop what psychologists call crystallized intelligence. This is the accumulation of knowledge, deep experiential data, emotional regulation, and the rare ability to see connections that younger minds completely miss. When you look at history through a realistic lens, you realize that the most enduring empires of success were built after 40. Julia Child didn't publish her first cookbook until she was 50. Vera Wang entered the fashion industry at 40. Charles Darwin was 51 when he published On the Origin of Species. And Colonel Sanders didn't franchise KFC until he was 65. These individuals did not succeed despite their age. They succeeded because of it. The youth-driven mindset operates on speed, anxiety, and brute force. The mature success mindset operates on leverage, patience, and strategic depth. In your youth, you were a soldier fighting every battle. After 40, you must become the general who only moves when victory is guaranteed. Stop looking at your age as a countdown clock of expiration. Start viewing it as a massive, unfair competitive advantage of accumulated data. You are not late. You are finally fully equipped. Chapter 2. The Rejection of Audience, Validation in our early adult years. Our behavioral psychology is hyper-focused on social signaling. We buy things we don't need, with money we don't have, to impress people we don't even like. Your self-worth is entirely outsourced to an external audience. You need your peers to validate your career, your strangers to validate your lifestyle, and your metrics to validate your existence. But one of the greatest psychological gifts of turning 40 is the sudden, beautiful death of caring about other people's opinions. Psychologists call this the development of an internal locus of control. You begin to realize a brutal mathematical truth. You have significantly less time ahead of you than you do behind you, and when time becomes a scarce asset, your tolerance for superficial nonsense drops to absolute zero. A true success mindset after 40 requires you to permanently fire your external audience. You stop performing for the applause of a crowd that doesn't care about you anyway. Think about the sheer amount of mental energy you wasted in your 30s trying to manage your reputation, trying to fit into rooms you didn't belong in, and trying to justify your choices to people who were entirely blind to your depth. When you cross 40, you realize that the only person you need to look in the eye at the end of the night is yourself. This psychological liberation changes how you do business, how you invest, and how you protect your peace. You no longer build a career to look successful to the world. You build an ecosystem that feels successful to your soul. If a project drains your sovereignty, if a relationship demands your self-respect, or if a circle requires you to wear a mask, simply walk away. Not out of anger, but out of absolute clarity. The mature mind understands that true wealth is not the size of your audience, but the complete absence of psychological drama. Chapter 3. From accumulation to subtraction. Final and most critical evolution of behavioral psychology after 40 is moving from the mindset of accumulation to the strategy of subtraction. In the first half of life, your ego believes that success is about adding more things to the canvas. More clients, more properties, more obligations, more networks. But by the time you reach 40, this accumulation creates a psychological crowdedness. You become heavy, trapped by the very things you fought to build. The mature success mindset flips. The script, true mastery, is achieved not by what you add, but by what you brutally cut away. The ancient Stoics practiced a form of mental hygiene that aligns perfectly with modern behavioral psychology, pruning the excess. Look at your life right now. Look at the commitments you keep out of pure guilt. Look at the old goals that no longer serve who you are today. Yet you keep chasing them simply because of the sunk cost fallacy. When you turn 40, you must become a minimalist of energy. You must audit your life with a cold, analytical eye. What tasks can you delegate? What draining relationships must you surgically remove? What old versions of yourself do you need to finally bury? The most successful people over 40 are not the busiest. They are the most focused. They have mastered the art of the elegant no. They understand that a life cluttered with too many priorities is a life where nothing of true depth can grow. By subtracting the noise, you create a massive, concentrated beam of light on the few things that actually matter. Your core legacy, your deep health, your financial sovereignty, and your absolute mental clarity. Success in your youth was about proving you could do everything. Success after 40 is proving you have the courage to do only what is essential. Concoeionf. You are standing on the other side of 40. Understand this. You are entering the most dangerous, yet most potent era of your existence. The world will try to tell you that your prime is behind you, because the world profits off the insecurity of aging, but the laws of human psychology say otherwise. Your mind is no longer easily tricked by cheap praise. Your nervous system has survived the fire of trial and error. Your eyes have seen enough patterns to predict the storm before it arrives. You possess a lethal combination of raw wisdom, strategic patience, and an absolute refusal to play childish games. This is your quiet rebellion. You don't need to shout to be powerful. You don't need the validation of a shallow culture to know your worth. You are the sovereign ruler of your internal territory. If this psychological deep dive resonated with your journey today, leave a comment below with the declaration, "My prime is exactly where I stand." Subscribe to the Stoic Mindset Lab for your ongoing mental training. Protect your focus, elevate your depth, and stay stoic.